Okay, now we should be live, I believe. Can everyone hear me now? I think it should be working now. Okay, cool. All right, so let's see here. I think that before we start actually working on anything within this project, we're going to create a to-do list for this stream specifically. And I want less things rather than more things, just in case we run out of time, because I don't want this to go past 2 hours, maybe an hour and a half or so. So we're going to start by creating a to-do list. We do have this to do right here, but this is mostly for other things past the stream. So I'm going to make another one called to-do-stream. And then we can go ahead and add in some things here. So let's go into suggestions. There's going to be a lot of things here. Actually, let's go into bug reports first. So this is something from 1.1.3. So that's probably why this is occurring. Not showing all help commands here. So a lot of these I have noticed, but I haven't had time to go through and fix most of these properly. And especially in suggestions, there's been some pretty cool things that have been suggested that I haven't been going through and making yet. So we're going to be making a couple of things in suggestions and hopefully fixing most of the bugs. We'll see. So let's see. They said help command not showing all options in one-off keys commands. So it says configuration is 4 commands and they're hovering over configuration. But when they click on it, it only shows 1 command there. Okay. So let's reply to this and ask what version they're on. Oh, okay. Never mind. You're probably watching right now. That's why you're typing. Okay. Hello. So, okay, so that's useful to know. Let's see if we can recreate that. I'm going to go in and I'm going to watch the TypeScript files to automatically compile those into JavaScript, which are hidden, but there's technically there. They're just hidden in my Visual Studio Code. And then within a different project, which I used to test this, I'm just going to use NodeMon to run this. And then if we go into my testing server, we should see that my tutorial bot is online. So let's see here. So we're on 1.15, which I believe that's actually not importing that. We're importing the local package that's in like my local computer right now. When you didn't put anything in the command, it didn't show on the help embed. What do you mean I didn't put anything in the command? Like this, just an empty command file, or how to teleport someone to a server over inventory click event? You'd have to, it depends on what you're using. If you're using bungee cord, then you have to use the bungee cord API basically. Like the server, I forget the exact term for it. The plugin channels. What do you mean by a stick bot? And beta tester ranks might be implemented closer to launch. I'm not sure yet. Okay, so let's see if we can set this up. By that, I mean, you don't create the inventory on Bungie, but you use Spigot and Bungie to communicate, and Spigot tells Bungie, hey, send this player to this server. Okay, so let's see here. So they're not showing up there. Let's just see if by default we see that. Let me actually move my testing server right there. That seems easier to get to. Okay, so help gives us this. We're going to then click on that, and we see all of them here. So what was changed? What does your setup look like when it comes to using this? The testing server is going to be private for now. So I'm not sure what the change was when it comes to that, because those are built-in commands, so I'm not sure. You didn't change anything with the help command. Is there any exceptions or warnings or anything like that in the console? That's strange here. Do the other categories show the correct number of commands? Is it just the configuration with the gear icon? Is Ubuntu better to host my bot? When it comes to like different Linux distributions, it really depends on what you're most comfortable with. Ubuntu is probably the go-to one for most people. CentOS or CentOS, however you pronounce it, is another good one. So whatever you feel like you're most comfortable with probably shouldn't be incorrect to use. Okay, so the other ones work, but configuration doesn't. That is very strange. And you said you're on 1.1.5. So that's what we're basically on. Let me actually use the proper one here. And let me go ahead and install the latest one. Just so I'm on the same exact version and not like the local development version. So 1.1.5. Let's go ahead and run this. Okay, it seems like I haven't properly deployed this, which is why some people are still getting that error, because I didn't get it on my local development version, so that's important to know. And now let's go over here and let's try this. So you see 4 commands. When I click on it, it shows everything for me, so I'm not sure what's different here. In the bug reports, can you put a paste bin of how you're initializing one of Key's commands? Because that will potentially be a problem. I don't know why it would be or what configuration could actually affect that, but that's important to note, I suppose. I also probably should be improving the way that someone requested the ability to get all of the categories as a list instead of just all the commands. So I might be able to do that. Advanced Comedy Bot. I'm not sure. The entire schedule for the YouTube thing needs to be updated, and I feel like I put too many advanced things that can take too long to develop, like all next to each other. So I'm not sure. Obviously, the last few times I've been uploading haven't really been sticking to that schedule, so that might change soon. I'm not sure the details of that though. A schematics folder. Yeah. So when it comes to like the actual thing here, you can make like a new folder called like schemas or models or something like that, and then you can make your models in here. Like let's say example schema, and then within here you would import like Mongo, like Mongoose or whatever, and actually create your schema. So I cover this a lot in the Discord.js series. I'm mostly, actually, I always use MongoDB. So this type of concept here is something I cover a lot in the series if you want to take a look at the videos for the actual details of what to add into here. But you basically just add in the models here. When it comes to one-off-keys command specifically, there's no way to actually connect these two because that functionality isn't really something that's there for one-off-keys commands. Yeah, so the schema is basically just MongoDB model. To my understanding, they're interchangeable. I could be wrong there, but from what I've seen, the tutorials I've followed, and when using MongoDB, they seem like they're the same thing, just two different names for it. You posted in bug reports? Okay. So let's take a look here. Okay, so you're setting a gear icon that could potentially confuse it. Can you try removing this gear icon and then see what happens there? Also, let me check your screenshots again. So were you looking at the default configuration? Yeah, so this configuration right here. I see there's 2 reactions on some of these. So it might have reacted twice. Can you try removing this line right here and seeing if the default commands work? And if so, that means that we can't use the same emoji for 2 things, which then means I probably should make the default emojis customizable. And that could give you more control over what ones do what. I also probably should add a warning if the same emoji is used. By removing that line, it fixed it? When it comes to using one-off keys commands with the schemas, there's no need to actually pass in where the schemas live, because that functionality is something that you always just need to use on your own part of the bot, not necessarily within one-off keys commands. One-off keys commands will handle the connection to Mongo for you, but the actual schema usage is something that is still dependent on your own functionality within your own bot. So one-off keys commands probably won't have functionality to like load those, because those should be loaded in whatever feature you're actually writing within your bot itself. It fix it? Okay, cool. So that means that we just can't have the same emoji per category. And so that means I should make it so it's customizable for the default emojis, and also provides a warning for the emojis that are used for 2 different categories. And then that should probably fix that. Channel specific commands. Yeah, I can actually make that customizable, so the server owners can specify what commands can only be ran in what channels. So for example, let's say that I wanted a command like !bug to only be ran in here. Then as someone who is using a bot who's using one-off keys commands, so not necessarily you as the developer, but the server owners can then customize this further. I can do like channel only dev, and then maybe that specifies this own channel, or I can specify suggestions if I want, but I can type it in here but specify suggestions. So that's something I might do in this video, or in this live stream rather. So that's, I'm not sure if that's the best option when it comes to making the server owners completely customizable, or if the dev should have some say in that. But I guess that doesn't make too much sense to make the devs have control over that, because the server owners are going to have different channel names, different IDs, and all that. So it makes more sense to be more user friendly for the server owners. Redis or SQL? Yes, I have had a lot of requests for MySQL support, and so I'll be adding that eventually. I won't be touching that in this live stream today, though. Make the commands work with spaces after prefixes. Okay. I mean, I could do that, but is that something that frequently happens? Do users who are using your bots frequently want to use the spaces? On your GitHub repository for Discord, can you please post the code? It's quite hard to find the actual command. What do you mean? Like, which command are you looking for? Most popular bots have this feature with a space. Okay. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and start with this with the emoji problem here. We want to be able to customize the emoji. As you as the developer can customize what emojis are used for the default thing, such as the let's see here, what do we have? Scrolling down here, these 2 right here, configuration and help. These should be customizable as the developer to override these for your bot. And then also, if any 2 categories are using the same emoji, it should give you a warning that that will override one of them. So that's the thing we should probably start with. So let's see here. Customize default emojis, default category emojis. And then we're also going to add in, let's see here. What was the other thing I just said? Oh yeah, warning if 2 categories use the same emoji. So those are 2 things we can start with. Hide the configuration help categories from the menu. Yes, so be able to hide specific categories from the help menu. And then also some people have requested hide owner/dev only commands from help menu. And then maybe this should just be ability to hide. Actually, let's just change this. Let's make it so any command that you want can be hidden from the help menu with like a not on help menu or hide from help menu property. So ability to hide a command from the help menu, example owner/dev only commands. So that's one thing we can do as well. Customization of the syntax error on a per command basis. You can actually currently do that, I believe. Hold on, let me look up the, let me open the documentation real quick. Oh wait, I can actually open the documentation right here. might have passed it. I'm pretty sure I passed it. Do I not have any documentation on that? Okay, here it is. So when it comes to, so here's the global syntax errors. This has changed in 1.1.5, where we now are using the language support. So you can add in multiple different languages within your JSON file, within your messages.json. And you can add in these placeholders, prefix, command, arguments, and these get replaced with certain things. So the prefix is obviously the prefix for that guild. The command is obviously the command that they use to run it. And the arguments are these expected args right here. So you can add in the expected args right there as well. So you can technically configure that. When am I going live? I should be live right now. I don't think you can hear me though, because you probably wouldn't be asking that. Let's see, you have a question about JS. What question do you have? .ts is a TypeScript file. So it's something, it's like a superset of JavaScript. It is JavaScript with additional strong typing, and this does get compiled into JavaScript. So if I run ls, we see a number of different JS and TS files for all of them, but I just set it up where my JS files are hidden if there's a TS equivalent with the same name. And then I'm running a TypeScript compiler to basically convert all of them whenever I change the file. A space in between the prefix and the command. Yeah, that was requested by someone else as well. It's something I'll probably get to. So where is this? So instead of going through a lot of requests from the chat right now, I'm also going to go through the suggestions because some of those have been sitting there for a while. So there, I believe there was like a blacklist and unblacklist command. Blacklist and unblacklist command. And so there's that. We can have channel specific commands. That'll be customizable by the server owners. Also, someone suggested at one point of ability to specify category emojis without a ability to specify multiple category emojis at once, basically with one method call. So we're looking into that as well. Guild only commands. So would that be like you specify the guild ID? So like if you have your own Discord, then you only want some commands to work in there and you can just add it to your public bot. Blacklist and whitelist. I believe that blacklist means that someone can't use certain commands or someone can't use any commands with your bot. So it's basically like banning them from the bot commands. Correct me if I'm wrong with that, but I believe that's the case. A music module? I'm not sure. Eventually, potentially, but one thing I wanted to avoid with this is adding in bot specific features. Like some people have requested moderation functionality, which I won't be adding to this. This is meant to be a framework to use for anything where you then add in your own functionality afterwards. It just makes the bot creation process a little easier. How would you know where to add an embed to something you want for like a mute or anything? You'd probably just do that in the mute command, if I understand your question correctly. Okay, so I gotta... Okay, I have some things to fix after this when it comes to that. Oh boy, a lot of suggestions. Okay, so I'm actually going to do a search in suggestions for one-off keys commands. And there's 55 results. Okay, so let's go through some of these. Let me start at the oldest and go down from there. So this one's help command. Okay, I already did that one. Auto delete messages. when it doesn't have the permission to execute a command. I think that's already my to-do list, but we're not going to be looking at that in this stream. Channel specific commands. Okay, we will be doing that in this stream most likely. I added that, right? Yes, channel specific commands. Okay. So let's see here. Bot owner commands, that's already done. So a command is in lowercase and uppercase. That should already work, I believe. Let me try. So we have help. Yeah, that should already work. Where were we? Okay, so when it comes to config JSON, this is something I did accept, but I'm not sure if that would cause any concerns about me loading the tokens and stuff like that. I don't want people to have to like go through the source code to make sure nothing like weird is happening. So that's one reason why I haven't gone through and added in default support for logging into the config JSON or the .env file. How do you submit a suggestion? You just type it in here. The bot will automatically delete your message and then create an embed like this, where people can vote up or down if the suggestion's good. Okay, I fixed the typo there. Yeah, this has been fixed. That was the old help command that was written in like 20 minutes. This is now that the proper one is already deployed. Let's see here. Yeah, some of these have already been actually deployed already. Command cooldown for the one of keys commands package. Was someone asking about how to do cooldowns in here? Because I can provide a basic example real quick. Disable the default commands. Okay, that seems useful. So, ability to disable any of the default commands. I'm not sure if we're going to have time for all these, but I'm just going to add everything in. And if we do end up getting like, let's say half of these done, then the next time I do this, we can try to tackle the next ones. So I'm not sure. Some of these are going to take like a few seconds. Some of them might take, 20 minutes. I'm not sure yet. Also, when you tag the bot, okay. Is that something that people would want where you can tag the bot and then type in like the name of the command? Is that something that's commonly used? Or is it usually just like 95% of the time just like running the help commands with like the prefix? Yes? Okay. So that should be somewhat simple to detect. Ability to tag the bot instead of using the prefix. To mention the necessary role that needs to occupy the command. That is in my to-do list, actually, like the actual one, not the stream one. So let me see here. This is a heavily requested one, but this is probably going to take more time when it comes to enable disabling features, so we might not do that today. Yeah, so mention what role the user is missing for required roles. We'll add that into our list here. Make a custom cooldown. What do you mean by that? Like there's built-in cooldowns into the one of keys commands package already. Okay, so let's see here. Yeah, that was already fixed. Per command cooldown, that's already added. A lot of these are super old, but we're just going to go through, probably not, I don't know how many pages there are. Oh, we're almost near the bottom. We'll eventually see. So config JSON support, again, I'm not sure if I'll add that because some people might be concerned that I'm accessing that and they don't want to like make sure nothing weird's going on. So that's why I've avoided accessing the tokens in any way. If you tag the bot without any commands, you should get the help menu. Okay. Yeah, I can add that in. I've seen the help menu function like that before in different bots. So ability to tag the bot instead of using the prefix. If no command, then assume the help menu. That's fairly simple to do, I think. We'll see. So the schema support, native embed support, these are, if he's talking about specifically the help menu, then that's already done. Webhook for logging events. Potentially, we're not going to get to that in this stream though. SQL. Okay, eventually that'll be added, not this stream though. Translate cooldown or other. Okay, that's what was recently added. Limitations on the help embed. Yes. Let's see if we can get to that. So make it so only the person who ran the help command can use the embed. Whoops. Okay, we're probably going to only look for a couple more. I doubt we're going to get through all of these. I know some of these are going to be somewhat quick, but not all of them will be. And again, I'm not looking to be streaming for 7 hours like I did the other day. So this will likely be a 2-hour live stream, maybe a little less. Depends on if we get to a stopping point or not. Support for custom roles. What's the exact details of that? Okay, so there's only 3 pages. We're going to go through the pages and add anything that stands out. Yeah, we'll definitely get to that of the command, the embed. Only the person who ran the command will be able to use it. I'm not sure if we'll get to it in this stream, but if not, we should be able to get to it in the next one. This is actually live. I just naturally talk fast. Let's see here. Custom roles. When you react to a message, it gives you the role. So functionality like that, I'm not really wanting to add into the package because I'm not looking to add in actual bot features. I'd rather make this a package that bot developers use to create their own features. So like some people have requested moderation features, and that's something I'm not really interested in. I'm looking to avoid that type of thing. Because if I start adding a bunch of things, then everyone's just going to use the package and basically just name it something and then just like release a bot, and everything will be the same. So this is mostly just gonna be like a framework or utility to actually make it easier to make your own bots with your own functionality. Is it possible to do that? I mean, yeah. Okay, so yeah, that was already added, the ability to translate things. I'm not sure what a prompt system means. Anyone know what he means by this, the prompt system? Be able to call a syntax error anywhere in your command code. Okay, that's actually a good idea, because you might not want to do that immediately. There might be some instances where you want to do that halfway through them running the command. So we can add that in. Let's see here, ability. So what was the exact wording they used? Okay, so ability to reply with the syntax error at any time within a command. Okay, so then let's go back over here. Owner only commands is added, multiple category emojis. Okay, yeah, that's already added to our to-do list. Welcome and leave with MongoDB. Again, that's something that we won't be adding because I'm not wanting to add in user-facing features here. It's just a utility for bot developers. Ability to disable the syntax error and replace it with an embed. Okay. Dynamic help command where the setting is on off, but if you switch. Okay. That's something I did have planned, I believe. So let me add in that one real quick when it comes to ability ability to disable the syntax error for your own method. So I'm mentioning this because in case they want to do other things, I don't just want to accept an embed, but it'll basically just call your own method for that syntax error. And so, and there you can send an embed or you can do whatever else you want to do. So let me look at my normal to-do list. Yeah, there's a lot of things being added here. And so we're definitely not going to get to all of these today because I've already been streaming for, where do I even see that? Streaming for a little bit at least. And so I was hoping to make this at least, or a maximum of 2 hours. Oh yeah, I've been streaming for 33 minutes. Yeah, I just saw where I could see it on my other monitor, the YouTube thing. Okay, so let's see here. Where was I looking? Ability to disable the syntax error. Okay, so I added that there. And then the other idea was dynamic help commands, where if a setting is on or off, it shows a switch that is either on or off. So when it comes to that, do you mean both features and commands? Because I believe I have that planned somewhere. Apparently I don't. Okay. So let's see here. Display on off setting in help menu. And sometimes people might not want to see that. Actually, we could say also hide disabled commands features in help menu. On off status in help menu for commands and features. This will be configurable. So if you don't want that, it'll be configurable. This list is growing very quickly, so I think we're just going to try and add as many things as possible. And obviously we're not going to get to all these within this first stream, but I'll be probably streaming this again. I'm not sure exactly when. Is it possible to use the messages.json in features? Yeah, you can use that anywhere you have access to the instance. And actually something that I'm just now realizing I probably forgot to add into the configuration, not the configuration, the documentation, is that features are now given access to, where is it? Features are now given access to the instance as a second argument, and a method that is going to return if they're enabled or not as a third argument. So I don't think I added that into the documentation. So let's see here, creating a feature. Oh, I did. Okay, so you do gain access to the instance within the feature, which you can then use to gain access to the message handler, and then gain access to the message within your feature. So that's already built into 1.1.5. Do you know how to code Discord bots with classes? I haven't done that before, but I'm assuming it's not the most complicated thing in the world because it's just JavaScript classes. Ability to change bot replying. So you made like the owner only. It tags the person and says the message. Okay. Let's see here. When it comes to admin commands like mute, kick, and ban, and things like that, can easily be logged to the Mongo database so you can paste it on a website. When it comes to functionality like that, although a lot of people are requesting it, I'm kind of wanting this package to only be like a development utility to make it easier to make your bots, whatever that functionality might be. And I'm looking to basically not have this come with a bunch of pre-built features that everyone is going to then basically just have the same thing. Okay, so let's see what we got here. So we have all this stuff here. And then let's go into the search. Okay, that's already added to our to-do list, I believe. I'm not sure what they were talking about. Let's jump to that and see their previous one. That is something that is already there. So let's keep scrolling down. The author of a command is a bot, it won't reply. Is this a functionality you guys think would be useful? Maybe configurable, where you can, well, I guess, wait a second, if the author of a command is a bot, it won't reply. You could just add that into the functionality. Like this is one if statement. Yeah, we will. There's only 3 pages total. We're halfway through the second one. So I'm looking to fill up the to-do list here, and obviously we're not going to be here. We're not going to be here for all of it. Hopefully we'll get a good chunk done for our first stream. I'm not sure exactly. We might even jump around. We'll see. But I'm going to go through the first 3 pages, and then because we're halfway right now. So wait, what did everyone say? Said yes and kind of yes. I mean, like, this could be very simply implemented just by checking the message to see if it's a bot. So the prefix in one of keys commands is not case sensitive. Is it already? Let me see here. Set prefix test. Okay, so test help. Why is that not working? There we go. Set default prefix. I know how to use my own code. Apparently I still don't know how to use my own code. Okay. I mean, that should already be the thing. I think most people use symbols anyway. 2 to 4 streams. Yeah, there'll likely be something that won't be just a couple. It won't be like just this single stream. Add multiple category emojis. That is in my to-do list. Somewhere in here. Let's see. What else here? Test help. Oh, yes. That probably should be that. Nope, apparently still not. Oh, okay. It was used in the database. There we go. Now if I say test help. Okay, that is a bug. So make the prefix not care about the case. That's probably the worst way to describe that. Oh well. Let's move forward here. Okay, so let's now go into the suggestions one more time. We're over halfway done with looking at the suggestions, and obviously, like I keep mentioning, we're going to be going through all of these things over multiple streams. Built-in level system won't be added for the reasons I've already explained. Oh wait, we scrolled all the way up. Okay, so we just did that one. Then let's see here. An option to keys commands to not use MongoDB stuff at all. That should already be a thing. You just don't set the prefix. I know that there was a problem with that at one point. So if I get rid of this, then I think it does give me a warning. But things still technically work. Some things that require a Mongo database connection don't, but I will add in MySQL support to basically fix that problem there. Before I forget, whenever I get confused, whenever I go to test this, let's actually, that is not the right channel. Let's set the prefix to exclamation point again. There we go, because 20 minutes when I go to actually develop things, I'll be really confused. Let's see here. It scrolled me up again. This is a good one as well. So to cancel the cooldown at some point. Cooldown during a command. So let's see what else we have here. Subcategories. This is something I probably should add, but that's going to require a lot of changes to the system, I believe. So is this something people would want, is subcategories? Is it something not just like would be kind of useful, but like you actually need for your functionality? Okay. So subcategories. So we'll add in that. Subcategories could be like additional categories. Like if you have games and you have like 8 different games, you could have categories under games. Don't add it. That'll be something that's optional and probably wouldn't change anything when it comes to your existing bots. A YouTube API music player. That's also another thing that, like, functionality like that, I'm looking to avoid adding into this because I want this to just be a developer utility to help make your own functionality easier instead of making it something that, comes with a bunch of pre-built features. That way every bot in the marketplace is the same. Thanks for your Discord bot tutorials because I'm started learning JavaScript and I got my bot verified in only 2 months. That's awesome. Glad that helped. Okay, so let's go down further. Built-in cooldowns, Devere cooldowns. I think we already have that, unless I'm misunderstanding. Okay, we're almost done with page 2, and then page 3, and then we should be good to start developing after only like close to 40 minutes. Wow, these time flies whenever I'm doing these. Like when I was doing the Minecraft ones the last 2 days, they were like 5 and almost 7 hours each, and it did not feel like that. That's crazy. Plugin handler, for example, moderation would be a plugin, and each guild can. So this is basically enabling and disabling features, and so that will be added, unless I'm misunderstanding. Such as the cooldown expands over a series the bot is in, or the service the bot is in. Such as the cooldown expands. Oh, so it's wanting it so whenever there's a cooldown, it can be over all of the guilds, not just per guild, because currently it's just per guild. Hello, default. Welcome to the stream. Like cooldown 5, so it changes the cooldown to that. Are you saying customizable cooldowns per command per guild? Free hosting suggestions. I have a few near the start of my Discord.js playlist, like such as AWS and Heroku and a few other ones. I think DigitalOcean, there's a link that I have that gives you a couple months of free credit. Oh, okay. So like the slow mode on Discord, the text channels. While the bot server owner admins or server owners to not be affected by command cooldowns. Okay. Is this something you guys would want? The ability to configure if the server owners or for certain roles, you provide a certain number of roles and then or any optional number of roles, and then those people are like it, you don't get affected by the cooldowns. Okay, so we can add that in. Ability to specify some roles that do not get cooldowns. Okay, so there's that. Okay, so custom emojis for one-off keys commands. I'm assuming this is something people would want, is not just using the default emojis, but maybe your own from your own servers. Well, how would that work when it comes? Does a server have to use that emoji then? How would that work? Like, what if the server doesn't have access to the emoji because you do in your server? You like give your bot nitro? I don't even know if that's a thing. So if anyone has any idea, how would that work exactly? My day's going pretty well. What about yours? It wouldn't work. It should work. The bot can already do that. Okay. So is it something, I'm assuming people would want this, where you can actually access custom emojis, not just the default ones. Bots have nitro by default. Okay, I didn't know that. Okay, so ability to access custom emojis for category emojis, for categories. Okay, there's that. Yeah, I'll get to the bottom of the suggestions channel. After we're done with the pages of searching one of keys commands, I'll go through and look at the recent suggestions since I've started the stream. Okay, so let's see here. disable features. That is added to my to-do list. We won't be getting to that in the stream though. So you can blacklist users from using your bot. That's basically already added to our list here. Dynamic help menu, that's already there. That's probably before I actually release that. Get a specific command or category, like help ping. I'm assuming that's useful. Would everyone want that? Like you can do exclamation point help space command, and then perhaps, so like if we look here, it would just display like this type of message here. Okay, so ability to use the help command to view the usage of a specific command. All right, let's go back. I just scroll down again. Okay, we're at the bottom of page 2. To change the delay between reactions in the help command. Is that something people want? Because currently there's a small delay to ensure that they go in the same exact order. But is it something that people would actively want? So I guess I could add this. This is actually fairly simple to do. So I see here, ability to change the delay between emojis and between reactions in the help embed. Just so it's more customizable. Okay, so we just have just a couple more here. Only took us like 45 minutes or so to go through all this. So make send a message. Can I expand this at all? Doesn't look like it. Okay, so make all standard messages from the package in customizable embed. So you currently can customize the way that the message is when it comes to language and stuff like that. But it's something like this where instead of just changing the actual language, the message, like the language of the message and customizing it that, would you want to override it with your own embed for any of the default messages? Is that something you guys want? Okay. So I'll add that in as well. So we're gonna say, let's see here. Ability, I feel like half of these start with, yeah, they do. Okay. Ability to use an embed instead of the built-in messages. And obviously that'll be customizable. A mention prefix, the bot will still respond to all commands. So this was already mentioned before and added to our to-do list. Guild only is true or false. Does this mean that you can't use it in private messages? Do you think that's what they meant? Because in private messages, there's the guild, or there's no guild. And so you can just check to see if that's null, but it might be easier to just add in a property, guild only is true. And then I can add in a customizable message that says you can only use this within a server and not messages or something. So that's easy to add. Let's see here, guild only messages, no DMs. Easy enough. A help menu. There should already be one built in if I'm understanding what you mean correctly. Okay, so if the user uses more than 3 times in 10 seconds to command, a 1-minute cooldown will start. This, if I add this, it will obviously be optional. It's not going to be a built-in force thing. You can configure this. But would people find this useful where if you keep trying to spam the same command, you get to customize the new cooldown duration? So perhaps there's an event fired where it's like cooldown reached. And then within that event, you can basically just like set the new cooldown. Or you can also use that just to get the current cooldown. It might not be needed, but like it could just be an event that gains access to the information of the cooldown, but also could set the new cooldown. So let's add in a cooldown event that provides info on the current cooldown, user, etc., and the ability to change it. There we go. So there's that. So obviously this is optional. So if you don't need this, then you just simply don't have to use it. All right, last one. Sharding management. That could be a thing. Would you guys find that useful? I'm not sure how many people need sharding at the moment. Okay, so let me add in sharding support. All right, we are now done with the 3 pages of search results. We're now going to jump back down to the present. I don't exactly remember, probably starting with this one. Why do I have 4 pings? Okay, that's not necessary. Hello. Okay, let's go back into suggestions and look at the ones since I started streaming, which I think would start. Okay, so the jump feature, this was already mentioned. Did I add that to the to-do list? I think that was mentioned before the stream actually started. So if you're still in here, I guess I could just read your description here actually. Jump feature, basically another reaction which has the jump feature implemented. This could be help command pages. Okay, so are you basically saying, if you're still in here, or if you guys are understanding what they're meaning, so like let's say that I go here and there's like 18 pages, we have numbers we can click on as well. Is that something that you guys would find useful? I'm assuming that's what they mean. So you can jump to certain pages and not have to click this a billion times. Okay. So add pages to the help menu if there's a lot of pages, or I'll just add pages to the help menu, and that could be a configurable thing. Or like, when do you want pages to display? Is it at 3 pages? Is it at 20? And so that might be configurable in a very simple way. But I'll just know what that means here. So now let's go back here. Updated music bot tutorial. Eventually, hopefully, I'll get to that. Did this scroll me down at all? Am I in the right spot? Yeah, okay, I'm good. Command usable for certain channels only. Someone with the helper mod role is able to use the command in all channels. But okay, so this is basically what we already had planned for channel specific commands. Customizable by the server owners. They can also specify what roles bypass this. So there's that. I'm assuming people would find that useful where the server owners, not necessarily like the developers, but I'm assuming server owners would find that useful. So the like the server owners, the moderators, administrators, whoever they want basically, would be able to actually customize that. So now let's see what else is here. Let's see, we don't have too many more of these. Probably like an hour of just going over suggestions and an hour of programming. Probably not going to get too much done today. Easier to connect to MongoDB. So this is basically already there in one line of code, which is this. So I'm not sure if I just don't understand what you mean correctly, or if this is actually, like this should work right here. However, someone did suggest somewhere that I added the ability to customize. I think they made an issue on the actual repo for this. They added the ability to customize these properties here. That's something I'll add in as well. So let's see here. Ability to change the Mongo connection object. So I'm not sure how many of you will need that, but that's actually a simple thing to implement, and some people would find that very useful. Okay, so where are we? Syntax error on a per command basis. Yeah, so that was already something I think this was asked in the chat earlier. This is something that we currently do have support for. If you go to the documentation and you go to the global syntax errors, here you can specify the expected args. I'm not sure if this is enough functionality because you could basically customize it here to whatever you want and customize it here. So I'm not sure if you guys want more functionality. The amount of people randomly calling me lately is increasing. It's getting annoying. Like on my phone, not Discord. Okay, let's see here. Don't know what you mean by this. If you're watching, can you provide an example potentially? Maybe a screenshot or something? Configuration in Discord, not encode something that has popular bots. What do they mean by this? Sharding management. Yes, that will be something that added to the to-do list already. And then, oh, some of these we already looked at in the search results, I think. Custom embed command where the users can generate an embed based on information they provided. Oh, okay, no, we haven't seen that one. Would you guys find this useful? And also, does that go kind of against the idea of having no like features in the bots rather than just like utilities for the developer? This is kind of like not really a feature, but kind of should be. I'm not sure. Do you guys want this? So they can create an embed. How would that work? Would I ask them using like a message collector for each individual field? Would they paste in some JSON? JSON seems less user-friendly. But also a message collector in like a general chat doesn't seem user-friendly either. I feel like this is something that shouldn't really like the scope of this project. I'm looking to avoid adding in like features, like I said a few times, like moderation features, economy features, stuff like that. So I don't know. Yeah, more of a feature than a utility, I agree. I don't know, I feel like this one we might leave out. But also we have like a billion things on our to-do list now. Okay. Where do we even begin? I'm actually going to go through and move some of the things that I know are going to take a long time to the bottom. So one that stands out is subcategories. I know based off of how it's written that that's going to take a while to refactor some things. So we're going to do that a little bit later on. Let's see here. Some of these things are fairly simple to do. We probably should just stop wasting time and actually start programming. So customize the default category emojis. Let's just start with this. So here I'm just hard coding these in. We want the ability to actually set these. But then what's the best way to do that? And also, should this tie into how exactly people are going to be using, where is it? Well, that's kind of related. There was another emoji thing here. Multiple category emojis at once. Probably a similar syntax here. So let's start with this, and we can get a better idea of how we want people to be able to do that. So when it comes to setting a category emojis, it's just a chained method in the constructor. So here's set category, and here's an emoji, which is a string. So what is the best way to do this? So we can set a category emoji, let's say help, and then we can add in something. That's not what I want. Like, let's add in a door, apparently. Okay, so let's just do that. Doesn't make too much sense, but oh well, just an example. How do we want to be able to do this? So this is already a thing, but do we want to be able to pass in things like this? Whoops. Would that be useful? And then you can add in however many other things. That's probably the best way to do it. Okay, so set category emoji. By default, to not break existing bots will still work with this. I think I was looking at the wrong function actually. Oh, it's right here. So it'll still work with this, but we also want to make it so the category here might be able to be an object. So emoji at this point will be optional, and then this could be a string or an object. And so I forget exactly how to do this. Was it like key string string? Okay, now we're going to have these errors here. So if type of category is exactly equal to string, we want to do this. And then otherwise, we're going to have the object. And so we then want to go through all of the options of category. And so now emoji is optional because in this case here of what we had, we don't actually have a second argument. There's no need. Help, and then name help emoji. That would be easier when it comes to future configuration, but I just have no idea what possible future configuration might even be potentially added. So when it comes to like let's say an array of objects is what I think that you're suggesting. Name is help and emoji is the door, which I have to find again. Let's just say that. I don't know why I keep clicking twice. So like this seems cleaner, but I have no idea what things are going to be possibly added in the future. I guess this does leave the option open. Do you guys think this is still user-friendly here? So that we can then add in other objects. Name is something else. Emoji is a hammer. So would this work? Because this does mean that in the future we could add in other things. You know, different things like that. So this, while the first implementation that I suggested seems more user-friendly, this seems like it's better for functionality in the future. So I don't have to refactor things and have everyone change their code in the future. So it's actually a really good idea there. Okay. So with that said, let's go over here. This is no longer going to be like this. Can I just do that? Okay. I guess that works. So this can actually be anything because I don't want to force that to be a string because the values of whatever might not be a string. So for whatever reason we have something, we have 5, you know, we don't want that to throw an error or anything like that. So now in the typical thing, you know, if type of category is a string, perhaps in here we should also check to see if emoji is a thing. So if not emoji, we probably then want to potentially throw an error because then instead of providing a string like the normal syntax, they just forgot the emoji. So let's see here, throw new error. And emoji is required for category. There we go. So now in this else statement, we're going to have the actual array. So we can now loop through the category. So now we're going to have each individual one. Better than using set category emoji. Yeah, so this will be something that is now, you don't have to chain a bunch of methods together. You can now just use it once, but then pass in additional options. However, you can still use the set category emoji and chain them together. That will still work, so people don't have to actually remake different parts of their bots if they're not aware of this change. So we're adding a support for both. Okay, so we're gonna look through all the categories here. And for now, let's just console log what is inside the categories. So I'm gonna save this, and then that should have recompiled already. I believe that my project here is using the latest version, so we're actually gonna use a local version. And then we don't need this. That's fine. So now we're just going to see what happens here. So if I save this, we should see it in the console. Name is help, emoji is whatever it is, which doesn't run in the command line, that's fine. And then name is something else, emoji is something else. Okay, that's fine. So now we have access to that. What were we doing beforehand? Right here. This set categories, we're going to pass in the category and then the emoji or the default emoji that was already set or nothing. So we can basically do the same exact thing. And in fact, we can actually just copy and paste this in here. But now we have access, we need access to the emoji and the category. So here we can get access to the name, which we'll rename to category. And we'll also get access to the emoji. And that's not working for some reason. Let me actually destructure this outside. Sometimes I have problems with TypeScript and destructuring things like that. So we're going to get access to the name, which is a category, and then also the emoji. Why is this? Is it a different problem? Whoops. Oh, wait. This is already specified elsewhere. That's probably why. So we're just now just going to say cat.name and then cat.emoji. So category, emoji, and category name. Okay, there we go. I just forgot that we were actually using this right here. What command have this bot? I'm not sure what you mean. And what am I doing? I'm currently working on things for the worn off keys commands package. And so at the moment, we're trying to make it so it's easier for us to specify what emojis go with what commands, or what categories rather, without having to chain together a billion different calls. So here we're going to pass in an object, and we're using an array of objects here. So in the future, if I add in different configuration options, you can add so on new lines of that object. That's the idea there. So this might work here. So let's go ahead and save this, and let's actually use correct things here. So what type of categories do I have? Why is node modules open? Okay, so we're going to say category is fun on the ping command, and then we can have an object where name is fun, and then the emoji is going to be the video game controller. So if I save this, does it work? Also, did this work correctly? It did. Okay. So we can do help. Okay, so we see that there. That's good. Okay. So that seems to be working so far. Now let's see, do we want to be able to override the emojis for configuration and stuff like that right here? Because we could say name is configuration, and then emoji is something different. So let's just say the hammer. Let's just see if this works. I'm not sure if that'll work like immediately. Let's find out. Okay, there you go. You can now customize them just through that. That's cool. So I guess you could have done that already. So when it comes to configuring the actual default emojis for the default things, you could just use the normal way. So by default, it'd be like this, but you can override those. So let's go ahead and let me just quadruple check that okay, I did spell that right. So we're going to go ahead and use help as well. So name will be help, and then the emoji will be something else. We'll just use something random just to make sure that both work. Let's add in a project thing. Okay, let's go ahead and save this, and then exclamation point help. Okay, cool, that works. Why don't you use semicolons? They're optional in JavaScript, and it's just a personal preference. Changing the help command's naming. So you want to be able to rename the help command to anything else? Or you're talking about the help category, the help command itself? Okay, so we have that. So ability to specify multiple category emojis at once is done. Customize the default category of emojis is done. Warning if two category emojis or two categories use the same emoji. Okay, we can do that next. So whenever we're actually setting the category emoji right here, I guess after the if and else statement, we then want to, because it could be set through either one. So at this stage, we want to basically loop through and see if any of them are already there, or whenever we're setting them, I guess like right here, we can see if this emoji is used. So let me look at categories. What is this? This is a map of string with category name and emoji icon. So we basically just loop through the categories and see if the emoji is actually there. Let's go back to what we were doing. Okay, so let's see here. We can do this here. So we can loop through all of the, so const current emoji of, what was this, underscore, or this dot underscore categories. Is it values? I think so, yeah. So what's wrong with this? Why is that not working? I've been jumping through Java and JavaScript multiple times for the last few days, so let me just do a quick Google search. On my other monitor real quick, if that's why you can't see anything. Oh, of course, of course. So we got object.values, and then we get to pass in the this dot underscore categories dot for each. And this is going to give us access to the key. I forget the, oh, it's right here. And the index. So I don't think we need the index. I think just the key is enough. Let me open up chat again so I can see that. Okay, so we're going to loop through all the categories. We're going to get access to the key. So at this stage, let's console log the key. Let's also console log this dot categories index of key. Or wait, it's dot get of key. There we go. Let's console log this just to see what we have. So that then compile that to JavaScript. We're then going to save here so it actually restarts the bot. Okay. So why is that not console logging anything? So this restarts here, right? And then we also have to restart this. I'm confused. So this is running, it's just not actually looping through this. Perhaps we use a standard for loop. I don't understand. Const value of object dot values, pass in this dot underscore categories, and within here we can then gain access to this itself. So we're going to gain access to the value. So we're just going to console log that. And then that saves, and so this restarts the TypeScript thing because it's watching it. We're going to save here and we'll see what we get. Nothing. I'm confused. We're just going to console log everything and see what is happening here. Okay. I think I understand. Okay, so the first time it's empty, that makes sense, but what the second time? Because the second time it's going through and setting all this stuff. Also, well, we don't worry about that. Oh, wait, is that because we're only doing that? Okay, we're not actually calling this section of the code, so that makes sense. We're going to have to do this in here. And because we're going to write the same code here and here, it makes sense to put this inside of a method. So let's see here. We're just going to set this right next to this method so we know that it's kind of related. We probably don't need access to this elsewhere, so I'm going to make this private. So private, let's see here. What should we name this? Check emoji is used. Is emoji used? So here we're going to have an emoji, which is going to be a string. That's going to return a Boolean. And here we're going to have this thing here. We're just going to return false for now. So now what we can do in here is if this dot is emoji used, we can then pass in cat.emoji. So we have, now we're going to know if the emoji is already used or not. If you can't download Mongoose, do you mean the npm package or do you mean like a Mongo server? If it's a Mongo server, then try hosting it over Atlas. It's free to an extent, and it's what I usually use for most of my projects. Okay, so if this is the case, that means that we already have access to, we've already used this emoji, and this will actually just return false no matter what. So in this case, we probably just want to warn them. The emoji category dot emoji is already used. So there's that. So that's fine. And then we can also just put this here. Instead of category emoji, we're just using the emoji variable because we know that that exists at this stage because we're throwing an error if it doesn't. And this is the standard current functionality before this change. Okay, so now we get to work on this functionality here. Let's just see what happens when I save this because now we're running this per for loop. So that's going to restart here. And then here we can just go ahead and restart this. There we go. Now we get more information. When you host a bot, how can you see your console logs? It depends on the host. Some places you host differently. Like you view the logs differently. Okay. So here we have a bunch of information. Let's see here. I'm console logging the categories. Which one is this the, wait a second. Well, that's not what I wanted. Let's just try this real quick. Okay, so that's why the array is empty because of that. 1 second. Oh, that seems like a cleaner solution. Hold on. I don't know if this is going to be a working thing, but Stack Overflow says this. No, apparently not. Why am I not remembering how to loop through this? Is it something I clearly should know? I'm assuming I use this elsewhere. I'm not sure why I did a global search for that. Oh yeah, here's, okay, it's just for each. What am I doing? Overcomplicating things. Where was I just working? Here it is. Okay, there we go. And then that had the, whoops. That had the key, the value and then the key. Okay, so it was value and then key. We actually only need the access to the value because that is the, that's the thing. That's the emoji basically. And then here we can actually see, let's see here. We can say, if I return here, it's going to return from the callback function. So I can say let is used equals false. And then I can say if value is exactly equal to emoji, then is used equals true. And then I can return is used. I think that would work. Enable donations. I will soon. I'm looking into like the YouTube membership things and a few things like that. I might eventually be moving away from Patreon and more to the YouTube membership program as well, because I do have a couple unique things planned for that, and I feel like that might benefit me more, even though it's a lower percentage that I get. Okay, so let's go ahead and save this here. Okay, so we currently don't get any warnings, but what happens if I use this emoji for configuration? The emoji is already used. Okay, so in my current console, it doesn't display the emoji. So I'm assuming once they see that, they're gonna be like, oh, okay, that makes sense. And depending on the console you are, it might actually render the emojis. Actually, let me know, is anyone actually able to see emojis on their current terminal that they're using? I'm assuming something different than Commander. Because if no one ever can, then I might want to actually add in additional information such as the name. So let's see here. I might want to just add in that in anyways. So is already used. Let's see here. Let's say when using the emoji for command, you can then add in category.name. And then I can copy this and paste it here. We just have to change the actual things we're using. So this is going to be emoji, and then here's going to be category. Okay, so that's going to tell me more information now. So when using the whatever emoji for command, not command, for category configuration, that sentence makes no sense. When using this is our, the emoji for category is already used. There we go. That makes sense. Maybe Terminus can. That name sounds familiar. I think I would use that when I was working on a server, working for a server a few years ago. Well, I'm just going to add in the name of the category, just so if the console that they're using doesn't display or render the emojis, then they're going to have a better idea of what's going wrong. So not just like, well, now I got to search through all the code for duplicate emojis. On Mac, you can see emojis? Okay. Yeah, I'm just going to add in the name of the category so they know what's going on. When I push the dev, probably, I guess I could right now. We got these three right here. I got 3 of these things done, so I can push the dev so you guys can try it out locally as well. Okay. So with that said, I think this would work. Let me go through and make sure that everything works when it comes to using the standard syntax still. So set category emoji, we can say fun is this. And then let's also say help is going to be the game controller, and let's see if that still breaks it. Oh, excellent. Okay, cool. And now if I were to do exclamation point help, it should actually break this. Yeah, so we don't get the next one because it already reacted. And so we see the 2 there, and that's a problem. And so the developer does get a warning. So that seems to work with both use cases of the new syntax, which we commented out, as well as the old syntax. So I kind of want this old syntax to be deprecated, but not really. It'll still be there for people who have used it. But I'm going to add in set category emoji with this syntax as the only thing in the documentation. So people who are just now starting to use this will be able to know the proper way to use it. That's going to be better for things in the future. Let's go ahead, and before I actually push this, let's go into the README. And then let's see here. So we're going to be looking for command categories. Here's where we want to change. You can chain these calls together. Okay, so the category emoji, instead of this, we're going to want to add in an array of objects where name is fun. And then let's grab this real quick. The emoji is this. And then here we're going to have economy, which will be a second object where name is economy and the emoji is this. Why is these not? That's not what I wanted. Okay, there we go. That's much better. Whoops. There we go. Okay, so now whenever people are going to read the documentation, they're going to see only this usage, which is better for the long term. In case I added more customization for categories in the future, no idea what that will be, but obviously this is better for the long term. And the previous functionality that people would be using will still work. It just won't be in the documentation. So that makes sense here. Let's also add in an example of name is configuration, and the emoji is going to be this project thing. Let's add in a comment saying you can change the default emojis as well. Okay, so there we go. This seems easy to understand. So the category emoji for fun, economy, you can change the default emojis as well for configuration. All right, that seems good to go. Well, you need MongoDB to make the mute command. I have one that covers it in Redis and one that covers it in MongoDB. And the reason why I suggest a storage like that instead of just editing the role is that if a user leaves the Discord, they remove all their roles. So if they have the mute role, they leave and join back, they're no longer muted. So I highly suggest incorporating some type of storage like MongoDB or Redis, and I have tutorials on both of those on the channel in order to actually use the mute role, the mute command. When will it come to the main branch? I'm not 100% sure. I'm going to push this to the development real quick. Okay, so here's all this stuff. So git add star and git commit -m. Okay, so what's the exact things that we changed here? That's the wrong thing. So new way, let's see here. Add new way to set category emojis. Warning if using duplicate emojis, and then also ability to change the default category emoji. And let's go ahead and push this. How am I so fast at typing? I've been programming for close to 13 years now. So over time it just happens. But if I were to type like normal sentences, then it usually is a little slower because I'm not used to typing that type of thing. But when it comes to like code syntax, I'm usually a little faster. Is there a way you could put a template file of a Minecraft plugin? Give me like a basic boilerplate of like how to make a Minecraft plugin. Okay, so that's good. This should have been deployed, I believe. GitHub logs. Okay, so the pinned comment has a command you can run in order to install this. Once running the command, make sure that your package JSON shows the correct version. It should be. Let me actually run this real quick. npm GitHub Alexander Flores / one of Keith's commands exclamation or hashtag dev. If I do this, it should actually change this here. Yeah, so once installing, make sure in your package.json it says this, which means that you're now in the latest version that I just pushed. When it comes to getting started for Minecraft plugins, there's a tutorial that I followed. Let me see here. This is something that has been updated, I'm assuming, throughout the years. It's something I learned back in 2013 using this exact tutorial. There's also a YouTube series and stuff like that. But it's when it comes to Java projects, it's not as easy as just this. Like, you have to actually set up your environment with like Maven or Gradle, and you have to like import things. So it's a little more complicated. But this is the tutorial that I followed when it comes to making Minecraft plugins. Okay, so at this stage, we have 3 things done. Cool. That's the wrong one. How long have I been streaming for? An hour 20. We're probably going to end the stream in 40 minutes, 35 minutes or so. Let's see if we can get more things done in that time. Be able to hide specific categories from the help menu. That's another thing that at first I was like, I'm not sure what else I can add to the configuration, but the thing we just added is now allowing us to make this easier. Let's see here. So we can have private. Let's actually just do that. I think I have to specify the type of array. Yeah, I do it here. I think eventually it will complain. The link's what I just posted when it comes to the Minecraft tutorials. Yeah, I'm glad you think the npm package is useful. Let's see here. So here we're just going to have an array of hidden categories as the names. And then whenever we're actually configuring this, we'll have to update this on the documentation as well. So when we're actually setting the category emoji, maybe this should be renamed. There is no link. Did that not work? I would assume that YouTube would allow me to post links. Can everyone see the link I'm posting just now in the YouTube chat? Okay, that's the link right there. If you just Google bucket plugin tutorial, it should be the top one. That's the one that I used like years ago, and I think they've been updating it and it's been working since then. There's also YouTube playlists of other people who have made tutorials, and you can try those out as well if you're more of a visual learner rather than the written tutorials. Add support for more languages. So the way that was set up is that the bot developers such as yourself would be able to customize that further. And so over time, if I can find more spare time, I might add in like my own custom, like my own translations, but those are just using Google Translate. So when it comes to adding in more languages, I'm not sure. But you have the ability to go in and add in more supported languages at any time. So like, for example, here's the default, it says Spanish. If you were to add in another language right after this, it would automatically add support for it. It detects the supported languages by the actual fields in these right here. So you can go through and add in your own, and it will automatically add support for it for all of the servers that are using your bot. Okay, so set category emoji. I probably should have made this set category options because now we're going to add in, wait, what we're about to add in? We're about to add in something. Okay, specific categories from the help menu. So now we are about to add in something. So I don't think renaming this makes sense. It should be renamed, but that means everyone else has to rename it. So I guess I could just make this deprecated and ask people to use the new one. So this will still work. Maybe this will just call the new one. So this is going to be F2, I think. Okay, set category settings. And I want this to be set category. Wait, what would we just have? Set category emoji. Okay. Return this. I keep adding semicolons, which I don't usually do in JavaScript, but I've been writing Java the last few days. So then we're going to call this with the same things. So either one will work, but the documentation is going to show this, set category settings, because it makes more sense. So we're then going to pass in the category and the emoji. This dot set category settings. Okay, there we go. So either one should still work. And let me just add in console.warn, warn off keys commands. The set category emoji method is deprecated. Please use set category settings instead. Whoops. There we go. So this won't actually break anything in anyone's bots, but we're going to try and move people over to this. And also that means I should update the documentation. I actually don't know what slappy is. Can anyone describe what that is? Okay, so here we want to now use this inside the documentation. Wait, where is it? I'm assuming it's right here. So let's go and set category settings. Command categories, you can also specify that. Set the category emoji by using its settings. Okay, so there's that. So that should be done in the configuration, and that should still work inside of your current bots without changing it, although you should. But this will be deprecated. How do you specify something as deprecated again? Wait, I'll probably do it within this file. Oh, it's just this. Okay. So where was I? Set category emoji. There we go. So let people know that it is deprecated in any IDEs that support that. I think VS Code does. And let's actually see if that works. So I'm going to go ahead and copy this, going back here. Okay, it's already like that. So then set category settings, and we should be good to go. Let me just make sure that this still works. Make sure this actually did something. Okay, so that actually compiled into JavaScript. We need to run this with NodeMon. And then here we're going to say go ahead and do help. Okay, everything seems to be working. Cool. Main goal is to generate Discord.js projects. Is that like a bot creator type thing? Where you don't actually program it, or? Okay, so here we're having the ability to actually set the category settings. So now we're looking to add in the ability to hide it from hide it from the help menu. So we can easily do that. Let's see, what do we want the user to experience? What do we want as a developer? Hide from help is true. That seems fine. So if we want configuration to be hidden from help, and maybe help to be hidden from help, let's just do configuration for now to test. So we're going to pass in hide from help. Currently doesn't do anything, but we're going to now go ahead and check for that. So I'm going to separate these between what we have done, what we're currently working on, and then what we have left to do, which obviously we won't get to all these in this stream. So now let's go into here. So we're going to have set category settings. If you're going to be using additional settings, we're not going to add in support for the quote unquote deprecated version of this right here. So you will have to use the actual object in order to do this, because we're not going to add in an optional third argument. We're going to basically this functionality of the previous usage of just passing in the category and the emoji as 2 arguments as strings is essentially deprecated. So we just want people to use this object. So now what we can do is if category dot hide from help, we can then say this dot hidden categories dot push category dot name. Easy enough. And then we can, to ensure this works after our for loop, we're going to just simply console log the hidden categories. So if I run that, that should, okay, that actually compiled. And then we're going to go over here. We're going to save this. And we see configuration is now hidden from help. Now it doesn't actually do anything, so we actually have to listen for this. So if we go in here, we're going to want the ability to actually retrieve this information. So we're basically just going to return this array. This is directly above the color. Okay. So where am I using color? Here it is. So here we can then say public get, what was it? What was the actual name of it? Hidden categories. And then we could just return this dot hidden categories. Okay, so we can gain access to that, such as in the help. So commands help, or just hidden true. That is a better syntax actually. But then what happens if, I'm just trying to think of if we're going to use, if we want this to be more descriptive based off of future things we add. Let's see here. Using commander, you'll have to do something like SSH. It'll be a command like SSH root at the IP, and it's going to ask you for the actual thing. I would suggest Googling that because there's certain ways to do it depending on how you're connecting to it. If you have SSH keys or anything like that. However, I do use frequently for my own personal use something called Bitvice, which you can just Google Bitvice SSH client. That is a built-in FTP and SSH client in one. What if the bot owner can bypass the hide from help? Yeah, so I guess that is a concern of if you're running the help command inside general as a bot owner or as the server owner, what does that mean? Is that going to still show it? So I don't know about that. That's also a concern. What do you guys think? What should happen there? So let's say we're hiding the configuration from the help menu, but they run the help, the server owner that's using your bot uses the help command inside of general. So then everyone sees it? Is that what happens? Because I'm not sure on that. That actually is kind of confusing. Is it just always hidden from everyone, including the server owners, and they should just know about it? Or, I mean, who knows? The idea here is I'm trying to catch all use cases. I'm trying to think of all edge cases, all use cases. So it is possible to use the help command in general. So I'm trying to think about what should happen there. If it's a server owner, make it so the bot DMs him. I've tried making the bot DM me, and then I have my DMs off, and so it caused a problem. So then what happens in that use case? So I'm trying to think about all use cases. Hello, Sarah. I see you. I see you there. So we have configuration. Okay, so hide from help. I guess this could be hidden. So you guys understand like what I'm trying to solve here is, do we just display if it's the server owner? I guess it doesn't hurt if I'm the server owner and I'm running help. It doesn't hurt that the configuration commands are known because I'm the only one who can eventually interact with the menu. So because it's not like we're trying to hide the configuration commands because anyone can use them, those are set to administrator only, but it doesn't actually hurt if people know about them. So I think we hide them from everyone who is not the server owner or who is not like whitelisted through the roles that we'll eventually add for this. So I think that we could just send it. Right now, let's just focus on hiding it for everyone, and then we'll add in roles that are whitelisted to see it. Yeah, because like you can't actually run the command, so it doesn't actually matter that they know about them, but it's just cleaner for a user experience if a new member who's running help only sees the things that they have access to and not the configuration which they don't have access to any of. So it doesn't make sense to show it there. You don't know what I'm doing? Currently, I'm working on the one-off keys commands package. Okay, so we're just going to say hidden is true, and that we're just going to hide it if from the help menu unless it's the server owner running it or people who are whitelisted. But for now, we're just going to focus on just hiding it, and then we'll add in the additional functionality later. Yeah, so if they have the access to it, these are all administrator-only commands, which will eventually be configurable, I believe. But right now, they're all administrator-only commands, so we can make it so only admins will show the configuration if they're running help. But if a random person is just running help, then they won't see it. So we'll do that. So we say hidden is true, so let's actually go update that over here. Where? It's down here. Okay. Category.hidden. Now we have access to get that. So whenever we're looping through the categories here, so here we're getting access to the category from the command, if not category, or category.hidden. Oh wait, no, that's not what I'm looking for. We now have access to, wait, what are these categories? The amount of things that I just forget about that I wrote like a week ago. What are these categories here? Oh, we're creating these categories as we loop through the commands. Okay. So with that said, we want to definitely, we have access to the instance, right? We do have access to the instance. Okay, easy enough. So if the category doesn't exist, or instance.hidden categories.includes category.name. Yeah, okay, that's just the string itself. So if that's the case, we're going to hide it. And so that should work, I believe. So let's restart that, and then we can actually restart the bots. So configuration is hidden from everyone at the moment. So if I do !help, it's no longer there. See, we know what we're doing for the most part. Okay, so now let's go ahead and try saying help is now hidden as well. Let's see what happens here. We're also console logging that. That's fine. We'll get rid of that soon. All right, it's working. And just to see what happens if we hide all of them? And do we want to warn that everything is hidden? That might be not necessary because they obviously hid them, but that's kind of weird. So do we want to warn them, or is that just seems unnecessary actually, because they obviously did this manually. So we're not going to do that. They obviously want that functionality for whatever reason. So now we can hide these things. Let me get rid of this console log. Where did I console log this? Oh, right here. Okay, then if I save this, we now no longer see that. Cool. So now we're hiding configuration. No available commands to show. Yeah, we can do that. But at the same time, my original reason for not doing anything, like such as a warning or something like that, is because the developer manually had to hide all of them themselves. Why not make it in JavaScript? TypeScript, I would better like autocomplete and checking of different variables and stuff like that, because it's specifically telling what's happening. So you can still use this in JavaScript because this is getting compiled into JavaScript. It's just it's hidden. As you can see here with ls, we see a bunch of JS and TS files. But this makes it easier as the developer who's using the package. Okay. So we're hiding this here. Configuration is mostly just for administrators. So we're just going to check the administrator. In the future, we might make that configurable, but for now, we're just going to keep it simple. So when it comes to running the help command, we now need to see if they are an administrator. We can very easily do that. So if it is a hidden thing and they are not, wait, who do I have access to the user? I do not. Okay, so we actually have to gain access to that. Where is this called from? Okay, yeah, I get that, but like, where's it? That's not what I wanted. Okay, so it's called from two places. Here we want to gain access. I guess we could just pass in the message instead of the message.guild, so we gain access to the actual everything, like the user and the guild. Check if they are non-hidden categories and show them. And it's kind of what we're doing, right? When we loop through all the categories, we're saying if the category doesn't exist, so we're looping through all the commands, and then if it doesn't, if it's not included in the hidden categories, because in theory there should be less hidden categories than visible categories. So with that said, the array will be shorter, because I'm assuming that most things are going to be user-facing commands. So that's the reason for that. So we're looking to access the shortest array possible, and that would be just the hidden ones, because there's probably only going to be a couple categories hidden. Very small difference, but I mean, things like that can add up and eventually matter for performance. Okay, so what was I just doing? This here, instead of just the guild, we're going to gain access to a message. And the message probably isn't null at all. So now this guild, we can just say message.guild. Then here we can pass in message.guild as well. We can also just destructure this from the message itself, because I'm going to be using the actual member as well. So here we're going to say guild member equals message. So we can get access to the guild like that. That should still work. Scrolling down, we have some errors when it comes to actually using this. So instead of guild, we then want to pass in the actual message, which I'm assuming we have access to. Yep, we do right there, message. Now we have access to the guild itself, which we already used, as well as the actual author, so we can check to see if they're an administrator. So here, let's see here, let's scroll down to this right here. We want to see if the member actually exists. So we can have a Boolean outside of here just to keep this if statement on line 40 somewhat simple. To see if the member exists, just in case it's in a private message, and to see if that member is an administrator. So const is admin equals member and member dot has permission administrator. So now we can say inside this if statement, if it is hidden, let's also, I think the Boolean check will be faster than the array check. So if not is admin and is hidden. So if the user running the command is not an admin and the category is hidden, we're going to continue. That's inside of its own nested parentheses. So if the category still doesn't exist as a standalone thing, it'll still continue. Let's try this. So if I help, I now see it. Hold on, I'm going to invite some people to the server. Okay, there's that. Go ahead and try joining the server. I'm going to edit this channel so anyone can see it. I currently had an extra moderator in here, but I hid it so I don't think they get notified of everything that happens. So go ahead and try running !help in general. Okay, cool. But when I run !help, you see the configuration. So that works. Awesome. So we can now do that. Let's add it to the documentation. I think, did I already add that to the documentation? We'll find out. So command categories. You can also hide a category from the help menu. Admins bypass this. So we can say hidden is true. There we go. Do I think MongoDB would work with what? I must have missed a message or two. Okay, so this is done. There we go. Hide command from the help menu. Okay, so now we want the ability to hide specific commands inside of categories. We think that's useful, right? Or do we think we could just hide categories? I'm assuming hiding commands specifically would also work as well, right? Like you guys would want that as well? Just the most customization possible. I don't know anything about Slappy, so I'm not sure. Perhaps someone in the chat knows that they can help you out. I don't know though. Kicked from the test server? Probably not, but I might make it so you can't talk in some of the channels I'm testing in. In fact, I should probably do that real quick. So I'm gonna make it so you guys can't talk in here, but you can still read everything. That's not what I wanted. There we go. Okay, so there's that. Eventually I might kick everyone depending on what I'm working on. I guess I could just create a hidden channel if I'm working on something that shouldn't be public at the moment. Okay, so ability to hide a command from the help menu. So we're gonna actually add in this. So this is obviously gonna be inside the actual command here. So we can say hidden is true. And so we also need to make sure that if the category is empty, because there's one hidden command, for example, that the category then becomes hidden. But not in the same exact way. We probably just use the same exact if statement. So let's now do this. We're approaching an hour and 50 minutes, kind of close to it. So probably after this one feature, I might end the stream because I'm looking to keep this stream less than 2 hours. But if we go over the 2 hours because we're in the middle of this feature, that's fine. But this is going to be the last feature we implement. Check if the command is disabled instead of hidden true. Oh yeah, we can enable and disable commands. That sounds better. But would we want both functionalities? Would I hide the channel? You should be able to still see it, I believe. I think, yeah, you can still type and test. Oh well, that's basically just not, that shouldn't really exist actually. But in general, you can't type now. And if I do need help, I can just like tag at here or something like that. So stay in here if you want. You can see some early things I'm developing, maybe even off stream. But for now, just to keep things somewhat clean inside the general chat, to make sure so it's not super crazy going on with everyone typing, I'm just gonna make it so no one can type in here. Okay. So let's see here. Minecraft stream today. I might later on, I'm not sure. It depends on how busy I am with other things. And it won't be as long as the last 2 streams. It might only be like an hour or 2. So I'm not sure. It might not happen. Would you guys want a Minecraft stream later? Probably like an hour or 2 after this one. When it comes to not like playing Minecraft, but like developing the Minecraft server, of course. I said take a rest today. Well, if I'm not live streaming, I'm developing something else. Like this is what I spend my time doing. It's just like writing code, working on things, doing things like that. So I might as well live stream and make it progress. Like I don't find it too tiring to live streams yet, although it's my 3rd day doing it, so we'll see. So I might as well just see what happens. Is there a GitHub for this? For this exact project, yes. It is Alexander Flores / WOKCommands. If you just go to my my GitHub repo, you should be able to find it. It's also, if you go to the WOKCommands on npm, you should be able to find it there as well. It should be on the right. How long did I work on it? I think I was working on it for like a week or 2 maybe, before I actually published it. Because it was very similar to the advanced command handler I covered in my series. It was just more polished and better performance, less bugs, stuff like that. So it was very similar. So I already knew, like, for the most part, what to do. Okay, so let's get this last feature done. You hide a command from the help menu. We also want to make sure that, let's add in this because it'll be very, very similar. Hide disabled commands. So let's see here. We want to do these things. What's the best way to do this? Obviously, we can, hiding disabled commands is somewhat easy. We also have hidden as true. So what happens when all commands in a category are hidden or disabled? We should hide that category as well. That's something we'll look at afterwards. I'm starting to think this feature is not going to take 10 minutes. I don't know. We also want to hide categories where no commands are visible. Yeah, I'm actually starting to think this might take longer than I have time for. Let's do something simple. Cancel cooldown during a command. We'll do this at the start of the next stream. I'm not sure when that will be. So cancel cooldown during a command. We're going to switch it up. We're just going to do this one thing here, which I should have time for. GitHub in the description. One thing that I did that really started the Discord server to grow is that I was, as you guys probably noticed, there's a bunch of like from equals random nonsense, and that random nonsense is a YouTube ID. So I know who clicks on what from what video. I noticed a lot of people were clicking on my Discord link. And so when I changed the Discord, or not my Discord link, my GitHub repository link, and so when I changed that to be inside the Discord, the growth went like, I think 5 or 6 times more than what it was before. So that's why I don't have the GitHub in my description directly, because it helps grow the Discord server more. Because I was getting like 30 joins a day, and no, I think it was a little less than that, like 20 to 30, usually on the lower side of that. And it went up to sometimes, not all of them are staying. Sometimes I just grab the Discord link and leave, but it's, I think I was tracking it, and last time I checked, it was like between 70 and 120 or so. So that's why I don't have the GitHub directly in my description. How would you say a syntax error? Okay, so that was changed. If we go to the README and we can scroll down to global syntax errors, because there's now language customization, we can change the actual language messages are sent to. You can now go to this part of the documentation, global syntax errors. It's under the main category of language support. It's the bottom like subcategory, and it'll show you how to do the syntax errors correctly. Okay, so let's see what we can do here. Do we have time to, or what am I looking for? I'm looking for this one. There we go. Cancel the cooldown during a command. So before I say we could definitely do this, let's actually remember how the cooldowns work, because I kind of forget. Okay, cooldown duration, cooldown character. So the duration is always, you know, if it's 10M for 10 minutes, this will be 10, and this will be M. So there's that. And then user cooldowns. This is the guild ID dash user ID, and then seconds, or DM dash user ID. It has an actual string there. So either in DMs or in the guilds, it'll actually work. So we have guild cooldowns and user cooldowns. I believe this is requested for user cooldowns. It doesn't make sense to cancel it for, I think guild cooldowns are more of like a global thing that doesn't make sense for this exact feature. So I think we should just focus on user cooldowns to be able to cancel them halfway through. In some use cases, that makes sense. Okay, so we got user cooldowns. Where is this used? That's not what I want. I want to copy this. So here we have decrement cooldowns. This is going to loop through all the global and per user cooldowns and decrease them. Increment cooldowns, I'm guessing. Oh, this is heading cooldowns. Okay. Get cooldown seconds. So here under decrement cooldowns, basically want the ability to run a function that is going to actually remove these. So it would just be map.delete key. But what is the actual key? Let me refresh myself on how this works. So we have that. That should automatically work with the TypeScript. And then over here, we're going to add a cooldown. Let's see here. Cooldown of 10 seconds. Let's do 30 seconds. Let's save this. Let's try exclamation point ping. We have no console log. Okay, so obviously in the wrong part of the code. No, it should actually be there. Did I not save this correctly? Because this is ran every second. That worked, and then I can save here. This will restart. Then I can run ping. And it should be console logging right now. I'm not sure why it's not. Because it's obviously running. Oh. This is once it expires. Of course. I'll probably read the code that I'm actually editing. Makes sense. Can we make the cooldown errors into an embed? It was suggested that I make all of the messages customizable in that regard to become an embed, so that will eventually be added, just not in this stream. I'm actually going to end the stream here pretty soon. I'm not sure when it'll be added even in future streams, but it will eventually be added. How do you make it so it shows what you want? When I type it, I don't get a suggestion to finish what I was saying. You mean like that? I forget if that's built into VS Code or if there's an extension that I have. Also, I think TypeScript improves that. So if you're working with TypeScript-based projects, you'll see more of that thing. Yeah, we're almost at 2 hours. I'm going to probably try and finish this up. And if I'm realizing that this feature is taking too long to make, I might just have to end the stream here because I wanted to keep this around 2 hours because I have other things to do today. But I might be back later for a Minecraft stream. We'll see. Did I finish the Manhunt game? I got it mostly working. The problem was getting enough people to actually test to go try and actually kill the Ender Dragon. So I had the compass working, I had the team system working, and so it was mostly working. There's probably some things I still have to add, but it was almost done, I believe. You should make a tutorial for the help command that changes pages from emojis. Tutorial for the help command? What do you mean? Because it already changes pages when you click on it. The name of the extension? I forget. Let me see what extensions I have installed. There's bin uploader, which if you've tried that, go ahead and try it out. Let's see here. Might be the ESLint thing, actually. Also, I suggest prettier for those who have bad code formatting. It automatically formats things for you. So if I press save, it'll, okay, well, that's a bad example. But if I did this, it would automatically fix it whenever I save. However, I don't recommend that for beginners because it's good to actually know how to properly write the code correctly. Just in case you're in a situation where you don't have the extension, you might seem like you don't know how to actually write proper code, like you have, a bunch of extra things like that, and we don't want that. So if you know proper formatting, you want to make it a little easier to just prettier as well. How to get the rebel? That was a previous rank from a previous server, and so currently people who had it on a previous server will have it. Eventually, this store will be open for the server, for the Minecraft server. And one thing I might do is I might enable YouTube membership soon once I learn more about it. And even if you're subscribed for 1 month on YouTube membership, you'll gain access to a lifetime rank as one of the perks on the Minecraft server. So that'll be there probably this week or next week. Yeah, the server is something I'm developing. If you go check the playlists on my channel, there's a playlist where I'm developing a Minecraft server live. So whenever I'm working on it, I'm always live. So the entire thing is documented. And so this is day 3 of developing it, and I might do a live stream later. Like for YouTubers, make a YouTube rank. There is a media rank that covers that is going to do Twitch live streaming and YouTubers, and I'm not sure on the requirements there. Typically on my servers, have fairly high standards. So like, I think my previous servers where you had to have at least like 5,000 views in the first week of the video being uploaded. So we'll see. Is the IP where others can play? Yeah, I'll put it in chat real quick. It's 1.8 through 1.15, I believe. It will eventually be all versions. Currently, PvP is the most functional thing. Manhunt will technically work if you can get 10 people in there, but it's still under development. For Java, going to be, wait, what do you mean by TLD? What does that stand for? Might just not know it by that name. The stream is buffering still? Is it buffering for anyone else? Oh, that technically doesn't actually matter. I believe you can name your packages whatever you want. But like if you want to use like the uk.co, you can. That's just there because domains are always going to be unique because you can't own, like, two people can't own the same domain. And so with that said, if you're always going to have your package be a domain name, like reverse, that means it's in theory always going to be unique as well, so it doesn't cause any conflict with other packages that might be running at the time. Okay, so I think we're going to finish this feature on the next stream. I might be back later for a Minecraft development stream. I'm not sure. So keep an eye on the YouTube content channel for that, but don't get your hopes up because it might not happen. I'm not sure yet. It depends on if I can get other things done today in time. But we did make a little bit of progress. Do I have anything? Let me get rid of this console log. Do I have anything to push beforehand so we can actually get some people testing things? I think the hidden thing I haven't pushed yet. So we're going to push this to the GitHub repo. And so in the pinned comment, once I push this, you'll be able to install the changes I've made in this stream. And that means that you can let me know in the bug reports channel on the Warren Off Keys Discord server if there's anything broken with the features so far. And everything shouldn't actually break your existing bot. So if you want to go ahead and try it out, feel free to. So we're going to go ahead and git add star and git commit-m. We're going to say add ability to hide categories from the help menu and git push. So again, the command to install the latest version is pinned in the comments. It is the standard dev version from the dev branch on the GitHub repo. If you're familiar with how to install it from there, you should be good to go. Once you do install it, you should see it in your package.json like this. And if you do run into any problems, tag me in the bug reports right here, this channel. And then I'll eventually get back to that. Server Booster gets to know upcoming features. I might do that. I'm looking into adding more Patreon and Server Booster perks. I'm just not sure the exact details of some of the ideas I have, which I'm not going to mention yet. What's it used to find file paths easily in VS Code? What do you mean? Like, I'm not sure. There's probably a couple different things I do, so I'm not sure which one exactly. Are you talking about the global search, which I sometimes use? Like if I want to see where this is here, Control Shift F is a global search. I have not made a music box tutorial yet. I might in the future. I have no idea when though. I make YouTube minimized when I do other stuff. If you go to most of my video subscriptions, if I understand your question correctly, the bottom link is to a VS Code or a Chrome extension called I forget what it's called actually. Let me go check it. It's the bottom link in my descriptions. It's a Chrome extension you can install to make, like, let's say this is my YouTube video. It could be like over here when I'm programming and typing things here. So like it minimizes it. I think it's like picture in picture or something like that, if that's what you mean. Or you can do at root. But those are module aliases. I have a video on that. If you look up module aliases on my channel, you should find it. But on phone, I'm not sure when it comes to mobile. Okay, I think I pushed everything. So if you guys use the command of the pinned comment, you can go ahead and try the changes when it comes to hidden. And if you run into any problems, feel free to tag me in the bug reports. But I'm going to go ahead and end the stream here. I was hoping to keep it around 2 hours, which is where we're at right now. Again, I might do a Minecraft stream later on today. I'm not sure when or if at all, but keep an eye on the YouTube announcements channel for if/when that will happen. But hope everyone has a good day, and I'll see you guys next time.